What's up, everybody? It's your favorite obscure character repaints favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Maketoys Bounceback. This is on loan to me from Joe, also known as Jose S. Reached out to me, watches the channel, was like, look, I noticed that you haven't taken a look at this. I hear you saying that the Transformer stuff is getting sparse for you in terms of Chinese New Year coming up, etc., etc. Would you like to take a look at the repaint? And honestly, I'm not sure how much I wanted to take a look at it, but I figured a lot of people would want me to take a look at it, so here I am, falling on the sword. But I do appreciate Joe reaching out. It was very kind of him, and I'm trying to get this done so I can get it right back in the mail to him as soon as possible. He sent me a few warnings with some of the issues that he had with it along the way, but he overall, he liked it. We'll find out what I think about it, but first we're going to find out what I think of these accessories. And probably one of the most noteworthy accessories would be this little Target Master fella. Now, I think this is pretty much just a reuse of the one that they did for Contact Shot. I could be wrong about that, but it seems very familiar to me. I don't know. So, articulation-wise, the head is on a little itty-bitty ball peg, which pretty much gets you a swivel the slightest bit up and the slightest bit down. I know I did that in reverse, but hopefully you saw it. And then we have orange paint on the face. The face! I've been watching Dave Chappelle recently. So then we have a ball peg shoulder going into the chest. Gets the arm up to there. Swivels around. It works fairly well. No bicep swivel, but you do get an elbow bend that gets you past 90 degrees, so that's fine. And then we had the ab crunch, which is pretty cool. And then we have hips on T-joint and ball joints, but you only get out to there, and then you get forward and back to there, a single knee bend that gets you the full range. So you can get this guy in some pretty cool poses. You know, I don't have any real issue with this. I'm really lenient towards the Target Masters and Headmasters. Maybe too lenient. I'll have to examine that a little bit. But so what we got to do is fold up the body and the legs. The legs peg in to the shoulders, and that will allow you the clearance to pull the barrel down and extend it, and then you can pull the handle down on that ball peg and sort of lock it into place there and leave it situated. Now, there's one other thing that you can do with this, and that is take this accessory, which they also provide you, and it's just, I guess, to give this a cleaner look and perhaps differentiate it a bit from the Contact Shot, or the Contact Shot had, I can't remember. But, yeah. So that's pretty cool. I guess you could turn the head around, too. I don't have any issue with that. He holds it just fine with the peg-in system into the palm of the hand. They also provide you this adapter, which is like a black plastic. He asked me to be careful with this, so I will be. But you take the Target Master and you insert it into the back of the adapter. And then you take the figure and you use that C-clip, basically. I mean, it's not a proper C-clip, but you know what I mean. To clip with tension onto the shoulder. And that will give you a Target Master mounted on his shoulder. But wait, there's more. There's a second adapter that you can use by following the kind of lock and key system here. You slide that on, and that adapter will slide underneath the top spoiler in between the two plastic pieces that you can see right there to grip on. Now, once again, I'm going to be extremely careful because I don't want to cause any issue, and I can already see that it's not going to be the easiest thing to do, but let's give it one fair shot. But there it is. He specifically asked me not to mess too much with it. So we got it to work. That's how it looks. It comes with a standard issue sort of blaster, and it's got a nice gold finish on it, and then we have the same sort of lock-in tab for the handle, which works just fine for him to hold. And then we have a more traditional sort of rocket launcher here. It's on a hinge up in there so you can adjust it once it's on his shoulder. Gold finish on the rocket itself, and then white plastic and black plastic sculpt. Decent. The only bummer with this is that it really can only clip on to one side, at least as far as I can see it, which might be the traditional means to do so, and that might be fine. But I don't know. I guess, it would have been nice to have the option, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know much about the character, to be honest. And your rocket launcher can clip onto the rear spoiler as well, but it's not the greatest fit in the world. And then he comes with one she gave me the digits, she digs me face. And then one with like it was a wrong number, she doesn't dig me face. And you can swap those out as you see fit. size comparison wise, and not really size comparison, but just so you can see, there he is next to the original mold mate. I guess they're the same weight. I don't know, for some reason he seems heavier to me, but we're gonna get to the bottom of that here in just a second. So he comes in at 7 ounces, no, 6.95 to 7, and Jazz with his gun removed comes in at 7. So even Steven. Maybe my right arm's just weaker than my left, but we all know that ain't true.
What? No, you sickos. It's because it's the hand that I used to write most of my Lord of the Rings fan fiction. Don't be gross. So Frodo frolicked in the sun of the summer's day.
Alrighty, so let's take a look at the figure. Nice gold paint on the face, I love it. And then the it's like an orange chrome. I feel like that should have been a red on the eyes, but you know, I guess to each their own. But I feel like that's a mistake. And those are styled the same way as the alternate faces. I'm just really kind of talking about it now because we're, you know, no need to talk about it 100 times. You know, once will do. So the head is on a hinge. Is that a ball peg? That's a ball peg on a hinge. So you get a little extra down, maybe too much up. You know, but you can use the hinge to help get you a little bit up. Swivel, confused dog look, all that stuff kind of works fine. For the shoulders, we have a hinge there, and then an additional hinge there. Now you swivel that, that'll get you, I mean, kind of a reverse butterfly. It's not really, but you know what I mean? You can kind of fake it a little bit. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow that gets you 90 degrees. Not a whole lot of detailings and stuff for the arm, which does end up looking a little plain to me. Wrist swivel, fingers on a base pin knuckle. Really tight joint there, as a matter of fact. Waist swivel and ab crunch. If you use the ab crunch, you can get the full swivel, and if you don't, you can't. So either way, it works. You can get it, so it ultimately counts. I think it's fine. No issues there. Detailings wise, nice paint there on the chest. Nice gold paint in there. We have the blue translucent over, I can't tell what's underneath. Maybe silver. And then the silver paint underneath. Nice little touch. And then the gold paint here, which all looks good. Decent amount of paint there. Other arm is the same as the first. And then we have hip skirts that we can get out of the way. They have little, you know, kind of very G1 toy inspired designs on them. That's not necessarily for me, but I do appreciate the effort for sure. To expose universals. Now, this has some of the issues that I've been noticing a lot recently with toys. So it has outward ratchets that work great, but the forward ratchets, this one works fine, but this one's like a little inconsistent. I've been noticing these inconsistent ratchets recently where like you don't always get the clicks you want. They don't feel strong. Interesting. But for the most part, it works fine. Articulation wise, full Van Damme. Almost the full Monty. Close enough. Thigh swivel. Die cast thighs, so that's black paint. And that really is a nice coat on there. Like it's very clean. Sometimes, you know, stuff can look a little wonky on the die cast. Double jointed knee, get you back to 90 degrees. Gold paint here on the shins, which is nice. You know, that was one of my complaints with the Jazz, is that this should have been silver paint down here, and they went with that gray swirly plastic. So that's nice. And then we have, let's see here, ankle tilt up. Ankle tilt down a taste. It does get jammed up a bit. And the rocker's on a swivel, so you get a great rocker out of them as well. So no issues. Of course, the doors can be up or down. We saw the doors in the opening footage. And there he is from the back. So, you know, I like the Jazz, so it's no real surprise that I like this as well. I do wish that some of, like, I think this got a little bit extra love, you know, but maybe that's because it's a repaint and they know that the draw isn't, you know, arguably as high as a Jazz, so they were trying to give it that extra oomph. You know, I will say this, you know, this was an issue with the first one where this panel here doesn't tab in 100% great, and it is still an issue with this one. I do feel like that was kind of a universal issue that everybody had, and yes, there's a fix for it, but I feel like that's something that they should have sorted out for the second release. All right, so let's transform them. I'm going to be going from bot to car, and that's because in the Jazz video, I go from car to bot. They're the exact same transformation, so this way both sequences are covered on my channel. I will tell you that this has a tendency to eat me up, but there's one thing I like to do first and foremost, and that's turn this around to the back, and then, see, let me make sure I got it right, because, all right, so that's like that. I know you turn one way, and then you turn the hand back the other way. And that part always eats me up, so I like to get it done first and foremost. You can open all this up. This needs to get out of the way. And then you can bring the doors up as well. And then you want to separate all of that and open up. Now, this is where I feel like the rubber really meets the road, so to speak. And it's not impossible. You want to slide up the arm, you open up this, and you bring this around, and you get it so that you want to open these up as well. I'm sorry. You gotta, there we go. That's not quite right. It might be better to try to line it up out here. Yeah. But you need like a little bit of space. So yeah, okay, that works. So, and I got jammed up there, so I got it figured out now. Same thing on this side. And then they'll sit nice and relatively flush against one another. Next thing you want to do is open up these wheels. This hinge is the one that you want to operate on. Bring that down. Tuck the head to the back. And then close this all down around it. Now, as you do this, you're going to flip that piece up. Wheels in. Doors down. And all of this collapses in the front to form the front of the vehicle. And there you have it. Let's get started on these lower legs, which are a bummer sometimes to transform back into car mode. Fun to get into bot mode, bummer into car mode. So we're gonna open up this, and we're gonna try to give us as much space here as we can so that we can fold the foot into this cavity, fold the heel down, and then fold that piece around. So we'll close that back up, and we'll do the same over here. Open this, try to make sure that we give as much room as possible. Fold the foot in and the heel down, and then this piece covers down, and then this piece you have to get out and clear this piece, and there's not a whole lot of room to do it, but you can. And then straighten out your spoilers. Tuck in your filler pieces, and then you can kind of get this all out of the way. Same for this side. You want to untab this, and you want to untab that right there. Come on, girl. There. And then this piece here is on a slider, so you want to make sure that's slid all the way down towards the heel of the bumper, the rear bumper of the vehicle. And then you spin this around so that it all lines up, and then you can flip this piece back down and it'll tab in there and there. So let's show that again. You want to untab this piece. You want to untab this piece. Make sure that this rear windshield is slid all the way down on this slider here. And then rotate. It's like a double hinge that you're trying to manipulate. Let's see. There. And it's cool that like the movement, you know, moves everything. You know, like the movement of the double hinge puts this back windshield into place, you know. That is kind of fancy, I guess. Tab that together and that underneath. And then the last step is just making sure that you rotate this stuff forward and then tab it underneath. And then the same on this side, forward, tab it underneath. And I'll get it cleaned up and we'll take a look at it. And there it is. Rolls like a champ. I think the detailings on the paint wise, like all the gold and red, come through really well. The gold across the windshield there is a nice touch. On the spoiler throughout, on the wheels. I don't know. I don't have much complaints with it. I think it does its job fairly well. People were not crazy about this with Jazz. It never bothered me with Jazz, but I would say that it bothers me maybe even less with this guy. Maybe that's a lack of attachment to the character, or maybe because the black and gold is a little less kind of in your face than all the white and gray. But yeah, I think it's fine. And then you have this with Tiger Tracks. Final thoughts, really, there's just not a whole lot new to say. I will say that one of my issues is like, you know, especially I guess like kind of refamiliarizing myself. There's a lot of small tabs and stuff that have to lock in during the transformation phase that I don't think bothered me the first go round. And maybe because I wasn't under the stress of breaking someone else's toy, but under this go round I was like, good grief, look at all these little tabs, man. I think the problems that a lot of people had with the first one was the chest kept popping out of place. I haven't really had that issue with this one. I think that might actually be because of this layer of paint here is helping to keep a bit more tension on the upper chest. The other problem was that people had this panel here and they didn't fix that. Of course, you can fix it on your own, but that's not the point. The point is that that's something that could have been rectified for this release. And there might even be some other trick to it. You know, what do I know? You know, but as far as I can remember, there was like a little thing, and if you just shaved it just a taste, it worked fine. It's been a long time, forgive me. But outside of that, the articulation still works great. There are still elements to the transformation that are ingenious. Plenty of accessories. This has more paint than the other one, and I wish they would have given the other one the treatment they gave this one in regards to paint, especially with this gold here down at the bottom. I think it was a nice touch. Can you imagine had they gone with the gold swirly plastic here? It would have looked junky. But with that nice gold finish there, it looks fantastic. Maybe this paint here on the crotch was a bit much, but you know what? Every now and then it's okay to be a bit much. Especially for a character that wasn't in the cartoon, that's just sort of like a obscure kind of almost cult classic type of character. Has a strong presence. I do wish that the eye visor was a little bit more red than orange, but the materials feel good, and all in all, I have to recommend it if you care about the character. I don't think there's anything here that'll make you care about the character if you don't already. But if you care about the character and you'd love a masterpiece representation of him, I'd say this is your meal ticket. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, thanks to Jose again. Until next time, take care.